Hello, welcome. This is the RP Ginger here with our Storm King's Thunder crew. We are going to be running session 33 tonight. This session is titled simply Unmask. Not simply Unmask, but just Unmask, end quotations. And last we left off, Reich Liviant, a barbarian from a secluded tribe in the mountains of the spine of the world in the northernmost reach of Faerun and Sword Coast, stumbled across the adventurers and basically got into a fight with some Aarakocra out of nowhere. They seemingly appeared, and when they got into this fight, they crashed the ship of our party. They beat on Reich Liviant's wife and basically comatose her. When the party defeated these bird-like men, they shattered into a billion pieces of ice mysteriously. Laura Wynn, the wife of Reich Liviant, was left unconscious and seemingly uncurable. But luckily for them, the king of all giants, King Hecaton, magically appeared before them and said, Reich Liviant, I am your man to save the day. And he performed this ritual on Lorwyn, zapping her with the very bolt of lightning from the sky that he called down, and seemingly Lorwyn was fine. The party was then instructed by King Hecaton that they must now repay the favor, for he was outwitted by cloud giants and almost killed. And he needed the very stone that Reich Liviant was born to protect, the Noon Stone, one half of the song of, or the Storm of Songs, or the Storm's song. I went Game of Thrones on that or something. I don't know. Storm's song. And apparently the Cloud Giants were coming to get this Noon Stone, and if the party did not help Hecaton get the stone, then they would be in trouble. Something seemed a bit strange to most of the people. Hecaton wasn't really what they were picturing, but kind of skeptical and not really understanding the barbarians' way, most of the party went along with what Hecaton and the barbarian tribe wanted. Reich Liviant, Livy, and Octavius entered in the altar of the Noonstone, while Warrendell decided that he was too much of a hipster to join in and did not want to help this barbarian on this task that he was born to do. He thought that he could do it on himself. The party was split at that point. They faced a couple of trials in the form of almost drowning and solving a kind of puzzle to stop themselves from drowning. A trial, these 4 trials that Reich Liviant must pass, basically harnessing the storm in his own way. And Warrendell was left with a little conversation with Hecaton. Hecaton basically warning him that these small folk that he is should take the shattering of the ordning more serious, because storm giants are a much more passive race of giants than the other giants. And if another giant were to become the leader of all giants, then maybe he wouldn't be so lucky to talk freely to a king. And that's where we kind of left off. So where we pick up is darkness and the sound of rain pelting into the stone or the rocks of this cliffside. Warrendell, you breathe out kind of heavily, shivering just a bit as you hear the pounding and feel the pounding footsteps of Hecaton walking away after your conversation. You look up into the sky, and although you know it shouldn't fully be nighttime yet, the sky is as black as night. And as you look up in the middle of winter, in the very basically depths of winter in the most northern part of this region, you look up and see a lightning storm that has been increasingly growing over time. And now it is full on just pelting down this icy rain that stabs into your skin, even piercing past the cloth and robes that you wear. It stings your body and kind of just feels like hundreds of needles are kind of jabbing into you. Maybe you kind of cast some kind of spell to momentarily give you the relief from the weather, kind of harnessing your own magic that you have. You create this force field and the rain just kind of bounces off of it. You look and you see Hecaton sit back down. You see Lorwyn kind of glaring at you. She hasn't really taken her eyes off you since you guys got here. You hear the distant, not even distant anymore, but very realized boom of thunder, and a bolt of lightning streaks down only like 100 feet away from you, violently kind of just assaulting the stone and chunking it away. You watch Hecaton sit back down, kind of cross his legs, and begin to just go into seemingly some kind of trance. You look at the other tribesmen, they kind of start to gather around Lorwyn, and they begin to just wait there expectantly. Your friends have been gone now for over 30 minutes, pushing towards an hour. As you sit in this rain, trying to do whatever you can to give yourself relief from not only the terrible icy cold, but the pounding rain, is there anything that you're doing?
Do the other barbarians there look like they're uncomfortable? From this rain and everything like that?
They're trying to tough guy it for sure, and like act like they're not necessarily cold. But if you were to like really intently kind of focus on them, you'd see that some of them are definitely shivering, and this doesn't seem to be something that they're used to.
I'll watch all this as it goes on. Warren doesn't look like he's necessarily not worried about the others. You can see it across his face a little bit. But if this large barbarian man truly is who he is, and this is his thing, then Warren has utmost confidence, plus with his friends, that they will seek this through. So he'll move over to one of the closer groups of some of the barbarians that don't look like they're taking this cold all too well. He'll sit down amongst them a little bit, probably smiling if there's more women than men, because that's just how he rolls. But you see the rain slow just a little bit. The wind dies down a little bit. And he can control in a 20-foot radius any rain or wind or anything like that. So I'll just have it kind of breeze off of us a little bit, giving them a little bit of comfort. It won't change the temperature or anything, but so they're not getting pelted by wind and rain, basically.
Yeah, they look kind of like skeptically at first as you do this, but they would be hard to argue the relief that they feel from the rain no longer assaulting their skins. However, Lorwyn would approach you, the wife of Rick Liviant, and say, if you even think about pulling any trickery over me or my people, it'll gut you where you stand.
Nah, I can control the weather just as well as him. I wanted to give them a bit of relief. Maybe I'm a god too.
Doubtful.
I don't see you controlling the weather.
It's not my job, but I control a tribe of barbarians that could rip you apart. Would you like to see that?
It could be quite sexy.
You're disgusting. You civilized men. And she spits.
Yeah. You can stand outside my circle.
She does so, actually. But still kind of glaring at you. Delphine beside you. It blows my mind the way that you have with women. It's like you just somehow, your aura just disgusts us all as an individual being. How do you do that? It's just simply impressive.
I'm impressive in all manners of my teachings and my ways. For somebody who doesn't like me very much, you seem to be staying awfully close and talking to me a lot lately. So I can see it in your eyes. It's okay.
If we're going to have to be around you, we might as well make some use of you.
Do you want to cuddle and get warmer?
I'd sooner die.
Yeah. Very well, then. I got plenty of other barbarian women.
Give me an Arcana check.
Let's see. Skills, Arcana. Kind of not much fun.
Perfect. Then you just kind of go on your day or your moment, Delphine, as you say that you want to cuddle or whatever, blah, blah, blah. She just kind of sighs and walks away, keeping her distance from you, not wanting to get too close. And you just kind of look around. You see Hecaton just basically like perched up on this little ledge above you guys, giving him that much more of an imposing kind of facade. And he just sits cross-legged with his hands in his lap and just seems to have his eyes closed. And occasionally his face is very darkened and shadowy, but as a lightning bolt would illuminate the sky, you would just see his pale blue skin, just kind of sitting there, long white beard, and then his eyes are just closed.
Are all these other barbarians around, look, they consider him like a god, right? Or what were they calling him?
They thought that he was Stromnus. Some of them probably still do, which is the storm giant's like demigod, essentially. Some of them are still like very impressed by him, obviously, and keeping a distance. But they're all would be kind of like watching him in the corner of his eye. Some just full on like staring. Others would get bumped and be told to keep their eye on you.
Yeah, I'll kind of create this little bubble around, just diverting the rain a little bit, dying down the winds. Every now and then, I'll just let a little bit of electricity kind of crackle between my fingers, my hair blow a little bit, just look that much cooler amongst these people.
You look the coolest. However, as we see these crackle of lightning kind of go from Warrendale's fingertips to keep himself looking cool and fresh, we begin to get sucked into the altar of the Noonstone, pulled into that dark hallway that opened up in the stone wall and pulled through the entryway, pulled through the cylinder room that now has rain kind of pouring down the sides of the walls, filling up these grates, and pulled up the stairs. And we find ourselves in a long, dark hallway. And we hear the footsteps of our party. And as they're walking up this stairs and finally come into this hallway, you guys just feel this electric energy as you walk down. You look at the walls themselves, and it's as if like every time a boom of thunder occurs, it just really like shakes your almost being. It's so much louder in here. And then moments later, you don't know how, you don't like necessarily know why, but suddenly a pulse of light comes flying down the walls, almost like an LED kind of effect. And as you're looking at these walls, this massive kind of hallway, you see that there's this carved, extremely detailed bas relief that is seemingly in the form of pictures telling a story of a time long forgotten. The hallway just seems to go into the darkness forever. And then when the light just kind of, it comes rushing towards you guys and then past you, it fades as it does. And then a few moments will kind of pass, and then another boom of thunder shakes you. You kind of momentarily have to stand there. It's really starting to pound at your head. But then a few seconds afterwards, whoosh, another flicker of light comes running down the hallway. And almost like kind of picture like a flip book, I guess. It gets that effect where the light is like running down the hallway. It's almost as if the carvings seem to be like moving. Right, Liviant, you remember your father, I think we discussed who it was, talking about the trials that you would have to overcome, 4 of them. First enduring the storm and then harnessing the rain. You know, the 2 that are left are you must hear its thunder, understand what it says, and master its winds. You're kind of just flashed back to this scene of you and your father, maybe out hunting a deer or something. A man that taught you many of the skills that you know today, and he's going over this one by one. You ask him what exactly these trials mean, and he tells you that he could never know, for he was not gifted with the bloodline that you have. He only knows of the stories. Your hand, as you kind of snap out of this memory of your father, is resting on the side of the wall, kind of rubbing the smooth stone. As you look around, the hallway itself is very large, but you can tell that it's man-made and not for the size of giants. It's much too big for like you guys to walk into, but no giant could ever like actually comfortably fit in here. They would have to squeeze. And your hand is actually on the smooth carving of what looks like a massive giant currently like holding up a big stone and putting it somewhere.
Interesting. Now I got through 2 trials, right?
Yes, you first endured the storm and opened up the doorway to the altar, and then you learned how to harness the rain to and be resourceful with it.
Yep. All right. Is there a clear path to where I have to go to the 3rd?
As far as you can tell, you're just in this dark hallway that just continues forward.
Yeah, so I would hold on a second. Have anything cool? That might be cool. Yeah, I cast a light spell. I knew I had that.
Nice.
And I put it. Actually, really, what it is the light that comes out from his mask just becomes much more intense. Kind of like headlights.
Mhm.
As the
And
carvings in the wall start to illuminate, Octavius will do more of an in-depth study into them. As best he can, he'll try to memorize them and see if they have any meaning to him.
Absolutely.
And if I recall correctly, you said like with the flashes of light, that looked like the pictures were kind of moving.
Yeah, so basically what happens is every couple of seconds after a boom of thunder, at the very far end of the hallway where you're heading towards, this light starts on both ends of the wall and then kind of just like flies down the wall towards you guys. And as it's doing so, when the lights kind of pass past these carvings, they're definitely not moving, but it almost kind of like a flip book. You know how it's like a still picture, but it gives the effect that they are moving. Some pretty handy carving work.
So I can see Livy using like her light cantrip and like moving them around just to see if it creates that same effect.
Right.
Yeah,
and on the opposite wall, like I just said.
Absolutely. As you guys kind of do that, these beaming lights coming from the mask of Liviant, and then Livy kind of pulling out like some kind of orb of light and whatever, just kind of flashing it around. Yeah, as you kind of like create the shadowy effect, it's not quite the same, but it does. You can kind of like almost manipulate it. And as Octavius, you're kind of staring at this wall as you're like, okay, no, come over here, and you tell like Rick Liviant to like stand behind you and like move his head in a certain way. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
All right, give me 1 second here.
That's always good when you're looking at a wall.
Yeah, you know, because walls love to do stuff like that. Oh, did that not roll? It was a nat 1.
Nat 1, perfect.
You should have just tried to reroll again.
So you're staring at the wall, and what you notice is that there seems to be like a bunch of giants all standing around, kind of like a Stonehenge looking like pictogram. In the center of it is this big kind of ball, and as Rick Livian is almost like getting that kind of beam of light to create the shadows to give the moving effect, this boom of thunder just echoes across, and for some reason while you're staring at the wall, it just literally like pierces your ears, and you have to hold on to your head. But as it does, and your ears are ringing and your eyes are blurry, the picture goes into motion, and it shows what clearly looks like the drawings of storm giants creating this giant ball of storm. And it shows them using this artifact to basically harness the ancient world's uncontrollable weather. And then the giants go on to take this stone and govern how storms are created through the world, basically ending a time of like uncontrollable tsunamis and weather kind of anarchy. And then you just kind of, and you take 7 damage as your eyes are just ringing from the boom. For some reason, while you're focusing on the wall itself, it's just so much more powerful. It's almost as if as your hands like kind of running against it, trying to understand it, it creates like this echo that just multiplies the sound that much worse. You take 7 damage.
Yeah, you just see Octavius put his hands to his ears and kind of retract away from the wall a bit. Wouldn't say anything, no verbal or nothing would come out of his mouth.
You look further down and you can tell that this thing that you just watched, almost as if like you watch these storm giants create this storm and then go on to control the weather. You look down and you can tell that like as the wall goes down to whatever destination it's leading, this story that is told on the walls continues on. Everybody else is kind of looking at Octavius like, that was kind of loud, but maybe you're being a bit over dramatic, because he's like really grabbing at his ears.
Right. And
Livy's
Reich would look down to him and say, "You well?"
Did none of you see that?
I mean,
Did we?
as Livy's just playing with the lights. Like, I mean, yeah, like this is, and I imagine she probably not seen any of this kind of technology from her studies or learnings and yonder. So she's just, this is so cool. Why don't more story or history be written like this?
Yeah, it's very like ancient in design, but somehow like beyond understanding also. So it's definitely a weird thing to take on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did Reich see that happen? Because he was doing the light for him.
I guess were you like intently kind of studying the wall too, or were you just providing the light?
I was watching what he was doing, but providing the light. Yeah, but I wasn't like.
I'm gonna say that you didn't notice it happen, but maybe like you definitely seen something happen to him, so you know that something kind of happened, because it doesn't make sense that he's actually like like kind of like wobbling on his feet for a moment, like disoriented from the sound.
Yeah. Are you well, man? What did you see?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to keep studying, and you'll just see Octavius shake it off and kind of ignore everybody and just continue to search and survey the wall.
Yeah, he would pat you on the shoulder a couple times, right? And look down the hallway. How far does it look like it goes?
You have dark vision?
I'm looking right now. Well, that was not an answer I had for you right this second. I do.
You do?
But I also have my light spell, so I see in full normalcy.
So yeah, as far as your light and dark vision can go, the hallway continues. It's a pretty long hallway.
He walks a bit down the hallway,
okay.
looking back and forth as he goes.
All right, Octavius, if you're continuing to study the wall, I will need another Constitution saving throw.
But will he be able to do that without me providing the light? Or no, the lights that are going back and forth, he'll be able to still do that with.
Exactly. And anybody else who wants to study the walls too at this moment, now would be the time to do so.
Con save?
Yeah, if you're actually intently kind of studying into the wall.
I'm going to say at this point, Livy has. Oh, that was a 17 plus 4, so 20.
20? All right, and you're just kind of walking down the hall further, right, Livian?
Yeah, he the man that has helped him so far, and so on and so forth, said that he was going to figure it out. So Reich's going to go look up the hallway.
Absolutely. So as another light kind of comes rushing down and another boom of thunder, Octavius, you take 8 more thunder damage. Livy, you take half of that. And you two both kind of see this story kind of further tell itself. And basically the storm giants go on to govern the world's weather, kind of choosing when storms and how bad they are, and basically helping most of the humanoids and living people of Faerun. But as time went on, the cloud giants in particular got very jealous of the storm giants' ability to do this, and they felt less important. It shows a tale of a worm, a dragon, disguising itself and basically manipulating their way into the court of the cloud giants and making them more jealous and manipulating the cloud giants into eventually stealing the storm song from the storm giants. Livy, as you're kind of watching this and the tale further tells themselves, you see that the cloud giants then use this storm song to wreak havoc and basically plunge the world into another apocalypse of storms. And then that's basically the light rushes by and that's all you guys see. You catch up to Reich Liviant, who's just kind of standing there. And Reich, as you make your way down the hallway, you do see the end of it, another 60 feet down, and you hear the faint sound of like a draft kind of escaping underneath of a door, like this almost whistling sound. 60
like that. Yeah. Cool. He would certainly make his way down there, kind of to assess that situation. These carvings go all the way down the wall.
Yes, they completely. It's almost as if a tapestry of stone from one end of the wall to the other.
Mhm.
This definitely tells some kind of story.
He would turn back around and say, "What are you seeing, my friend?"
I think Livy's looking at Octavius going, what was that? Just kind of, but not saying it, just like.
It
And
seems
then
to be a story unfolding. And Octavius would just look to Livy and kind of like shrug his shoulders. Keep studying the wall.
Another light starts rushing towards you guys. Do you all want to continue to study it? Right? Do you want to join in this time?
Yeah, I was about to say he would with the non-answer that he got from Octavius, he's going to come over and, well, if you're not going to tell me, I guess I have to look for myself.
It's hard to say.
it's
Better this way.
Yeah, and he watches the show this time.
All right. All right. Give me another con save, then Reich and Livy.
no.
Oh, Livy's not this time?
Livy's kind of still just like pondering it, just like
21.
All right. So you both succeed, and again, the light comes rushing by, and then you just basically start to follow it, and it tells this tale. You take half of 8 damage again, so 4 damage to both of you. And next, you basically see that the Cloud Giants start a war and wipe out a good portion of the world, basically drowning it away and causing this kind of crazy, endless storm. But a human titled the First Mother eventually comes to the Storm Giants and offers her people's aid. It speaks, and you watch these stones kind of go through these people, these barbarians teaming up with the Storm Giants, and a bloody storm-filled war called the Monsoon War lasts for many years. And they finally, after many deaths, you kind of see people being struck by lightning, crushed under giants' foot, giants fighting each other, uncover the manipulation of this worm and get the stone back in the Storm Giants' control. It's at that time that the King of Giants, the Storm King at the time, probably not Hecaton, you think to yourself as you look at this drawing that's depicting a very much different looking giant, declares that controlling the storms is too dangerous, and he separates it, ripping it into 2 parts, giving one part of the stone, the Noon Stone, to the children of storms and blessing them with divine giant's blood. The story is a little bit different than the tale that you remember being told, Reich Livian, but it definitely has a lot of similarities of the divine blessing given to them by the Storm Giants for helping them in some way or another. But the last thing you kind of see as you get to the end of the wall and now see this big stone slab of a door with wind kind of just audibly escaping underneath of it is that the Storm King at the time declared that no giant should ever be allowed to have the Noonstone again, and that it is under the people's or the children of the storm's watch now.
And that's it.
That's it.
So, Reich pops out and goes, "Whoa. That's like something I've never seen before." And he's clearly talking to Octavius.
Oh, it's definitely
It's like a movie in my mind.
I wonder what it means.
Well, it means
I
exactly.
I know what it shows, but there has to be more. There's always 3 sides to a story.
And if you could see somebody kind of give you the squint look through a mask, maybe the light dims a bunch. You know what I mean? Like,
do you think there's more like this? As Livy points to the wall further down the hall, did you see anything Like
Is the other side of the wall the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, nope. There's a door right here.
maybe there's more beyond it?
What does the wind coming out of there smell like?
From
Does it
what
have
you
any
can
odor to
tell,
it?
it's kind of like stale, I guess.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Is it constantly
Well, I
moving?
figured.
Yeah, it sounds like almost as if air is being sucked into the room, actually.
So from the room we're in into that other room.
Mm-hmm.
Can Octavius
Okay.
do a perception check to see if the air has any form of cadence that might be unnatural to wind?
Okay, yeah.
$17.
Yeah, it sounds way too strong to be a draft for sure. If that's what you meant.
Does it sound like breathing?
Not breathing, no. It's like a constant kind of like sucking sound. It's the wind being sucked underneath the door, this kind of like narrow gap underneath. It's not a tight seal. And it's just being pulled in.
This mural might be insight for the room ahead. We must try to remember as much as we can.
We are nearing the Noonstone. It is just telling us that the story of how that became the Noon and its sister.
We must move forward.
Yes. What does this door look like?
It is essentially
I know you said it's a big slab door with a gap, but
it's a big stone thick door. As you look at it, the light that comes in behind eventually runs to this door and hits it, and then basically there's these intricate swirlings that kind of it like funnels the light in and eventually pulsates in the center of it. And as the light kind of pulsates and then dims away, you can see that it's basically like I guess like in character you might not know what this is, but as like out of character, it looks like basically like a pictogram of like a hurricane or something, like the eye of the storm in the center of it, and then basically like this whirling wind all around and carved into the door. I don't know if your characters would know what that means, but that's kind of what it looks like.
yeah, no, I know what you're saying as the thing. Okay, is there a handle on it or anything, or is it looks like it's just something you push?
Looks like it's something you just push.
Um,
I am behind you, and so is Livy. We will be fine
Yeah.
together.
I do hope so. He waits for the light to come back.
Yep.
And pushes the door open when it's lit up.
All right, you begin to push, and it takes some effort, but you push through it. And then once you
It's
get
really
grinding past that first kind of like lump, I guess, that first initial push, it's like the sound of like unlocking a wind tunnel. The wind just begins to get more powerful. And as you push further, the pushing gets easier and easier. And it pushed open into this massive room. The sound almost as if like a typhoon is going off in this room. A vicious windstorm overcomes the party as you're almost like seemingly getting sucked into the room itself. You kind of got to grab onto the walls. We switch back over to Warrendale. Give me a perception check.
What do I get? 10, 13.
13. It's not working out for you very well. But nonetheless, Hecaton, after I'm gonna say a few more moments have passed now, we're definitely hitting the hour mark of how long your party's been gone for. And Hecaton finally snapped out of whatever trance he's in. He calls over Lorwyn, and they begin to talk a distance away from you. A couple minutes pass. Delphine, what do you think they're talking about?
Probably how awesome I am. People do that an awful lot, but you should sneak over there and see what you can hear. Maybe they know where there's a boat or something.
Not really.
I heard she wanted to burn down your boat.
I'm not really interested in what they have to say.
Then why the hell did you ask me?
Fair enough. I'm getting bored, I guess. And
Fair.
about my ship, don't think that you're not fixing it. Klaus will have you dead if he knew that you wrecked his airship. That's one of his most prized possessions.
Just look at her a bit astounded. Yes, I summoned those Arakorka and screwed everything up. Whatever it is. I think you can sneak over there. You're sneakier than I am, though. I mean, slink through the grass like a snaker that you are and see what you can hear.
I don't really know if you know how Klaus works, but it doesn't really matter if these birdmen came and attacked our ship. He's going to blame someone. And you better damn well believe that it's not going to be me who gets blamed.
And I'm not the captain, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see you going down with the ship.
Well, actually, I did actually go down with the ship. It was that strange barbarian man who saved me. Unlike you, who... What did you do? Cower away or something? Classic.
Saved myself.
Well, just remember, I'll do the same. And she says, worry about myself. You can go sneak and listen in if you want. I'm just letting you know that the ship, I'm deeming it you and your party's responsibility to get operational.
Yes, whatever.
She kind of walks away again. Hekaton and Lorwyn speak for a few moments longer. If you just kind of sit there and wait.
Are they too far away to hear anything, really?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you'd have to walk a distance to get near them. I'd say maybe like 40 feet away, 30, or probably 30.
Let's see what I got for... we haven't had a rest or anything, have we?
I guess you definitely could have had a short rest for sure.
I don't know if that helps or not. Let's see.
Or a rest since when? You've had a rest since the Aarakocra for sure.
Oh, I don't know. For some reason, I have all my spells are marked off that I didn't reset, so I didn't know if we had one or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys did. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll say you guys did.
Because I have only thing I have is first level spells at the moment, which probably when we were eating dinner and stuff. But anyway,
yeah, actually, because you guys got here around the morning time, and then you had like banquet and stuff. So we'll say that you long rested because it's now nighttime.
Okay.
All right. But I would assume the things that happened to us are still.
Yeah, the damage that you just took in the current trials are definitely staying.
Still current. Yeah.
So that's worth. Do they look like they're? Well, if I need a percept, do they look like they're having like an in-depth conversation, or is it just like a? I mean, is she there for quite a while?
She's been there for about 5 minutes, and she keeps looking back in the direction of you guys, and occasionally nods her head.
Okay. Well, I will start moving around, maybe talking to some of these people, make my way in that sort of direction, trying to blend in with the crowd that I best as I can. If you need me to roll stealth or something, but once I start merging in with the crowd, I will use greater invisibility and then dimension door.
Okay, now interesting thing is there's not so much of a crowd as there is just 5 barbarians.
I will hang out in the midst of these 5 barbarians. I'm sure they're bigger than me. I'm only like 5'5", scrawny compared to these people. But yeah, greater invisibility and then dimension door into somewhere close by that hopefully I can hear something, but sort of, like in the nooks and crannies of the cliffside or whatever would be a foreseeable protective area.
Okay, interesting. So just to understand, you're going to like kind of stand beside the 5 barbarian and then bamf invisible?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, they are watching you, for the record.
That's fine.
Okay, so yeah, you are just kind of standing there, just like, hey,
fellas, see, he can do his lightning tricks and his winds and stuff. Watch what I can do.
And as soon as you go invisible, they just call out and they begin to like go on the defense. They have their spears ready, and they would call out to Lorwyn that he vanished, he's gone. To which Lorwyn and Hekaton obviously stop their conversation. Do you dimension door over there still?
Yeah, that's what I would. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you bamf over there, and yeah, they definitely, when you go invisible, kind of, they are the barbarian's job were to watch you. So as soon as you do that, they alert, and you bamf over beside. And let me just check something really quick here. I just gotta check one little detail. All right.
Wando getting himself in trouble again.
Yeah. You do hear Hecaton say, find him. He couldn't have gone very far. To which Lorwyn goes and kind of tells their people to start like dispersing and searching the hill. Maybe he's done some magic. Maybe he's gone invisible. Who knows what he's capable of? And they begin to search for you. Lorwyn, I guess, comes back after a while. And now I will need you to make a stealth check at advantage, though, because you're invisible. And basically, it'd be pretty hard to spot you now if you're going to listen into what they're saying.
Yeah. If he's like on a crag or something, sort of a little bit higher, if I can, higher ground. But
yeah, that works for me. You kind of climb up.
Let's see, stealth. And I don't know how. Oh, whoops, let me click the advantage one. Stealth.
Yeah, you don't. They obviously don't hear you. The rain, the invisibility, the darkness. Like, there's so many things that make it easy for you to kind of sneak up. And you hear Lorwyn ask, "Is this going to be a problem?" And Hecaton responds, "There's no way any of these puny folk will be able to stop anything now. We're just waiting on your husband to return. Then all will be fine. Just find him at once.
What does
causing any trouble?
What does this Lorwyn carry? Is she like a barbarian warrior woman?
She's a warrior woman for sure, and she carries a big glaive, I think is what it is. I'm trying to find it right now. Yeah, it's a glaive.
Yeah, I just kind of took back into the nooks and crannies and just watch. Let the people snoop around before.
All right. So yeah, they Sorry, were you going to say something else?
I just want to keep an eye on Hecaton and Lorwyn.
Yeah, they kind of go around looking for you for sure. I guess invisibility lasts for quite some time, right? Greater invisibility, it lasts for
an hour or so. Like that.
Yeah. So yeah, they're obviously actually in a bit come back and say they can't find you anywhere. He's seemingly vanished, and Lorwyn commands another one of the barbarians, so one of the fifth, not including her, to go back to camp, make sure that he's not doing anything to our people, and then bring some reinforcements.
Can I see where this place is that the others are at? Like
the hole?
Yeah, did they just disappear over the cliffside, or can?
No, there's still the door that made itself into the stone wall is still there for sure.
And how far away is that?
Like from where you currently would be now, maybe 60 feet.
Oh, okay, cool. All
right, cool. We shift back over. You guys are being almost like sucked into this room, and as you get the door fully open, after a while, the wind actually pulls this giant stone that at first Rick Livian was almost kind of struggling to push. As he gets it further and further, the wind actually grabs onto it and just sucks it back, almost ripping it off of whatever it's been built into. And it opens up into this massive chamber of seemingly carved out stone. It's another spherical room, circular in shape. And in the center of this natural cavernous chamber hovers a big chunk of earth seemingly ripped out from the ground. And on top of this earth, just sitting there floating in the air, is an altar that holds a chunk of stone that seemingly has just raw storm energy circulating around it. The chunk of dirt and altar are floating up in the center of this room, a good like 80 feet away from you. And all around the room is this like hurricane of wind that is just blowing in a circular, almost tornado fashion. pulling up dirt in chunks, big, huge pieces of stone. And then every now and then pulsating in the center of the room is this giant floating mass of storm. It's as if like an uncontrollable typhoon is just swirling around. And as you come into the room more and more, you literally have to like maybe grab onto each other or a stalagmite to like not get pulled up and away.
But you don't see this every day.
Livy.
You don't hear actually anything that Octavio says. You just hear his mouth moving, as all you hear is this.
That's a bummer. Livy's going to relay a story, be like, I remember reading about this somewhere before. I think it was like an Arabian Night Tale. But chaos is supposed to happen after they touch something they weren't supposed to.
You have no clue what she's saying.
That's funny. All right. So there's an master from sorry. And the altar. Okay. Is there? How would you have to get to the altar?
There doesn't really seem to be a way to walk. It's just floating in the middle of this chamber.
Yeah. Is there any more carvings on the other side of this wall?
Not that you can see, or like immediately inside the room. No.
And what if we there's like
the room itself seems to be like natural? It's like a natural cavern that has been like maybe chipped out further. There's less detailed stone scripture, and it's more just like maybe even as you watch this big chunk of rock that's been torn up in the tornado bash into the side of the cliff and break more of it away, and then more of rocks kind of fall in and dirty this kind of tornado. Now there's like tons of debris floating around in it.
And where? How far is that tornado away?
So it's basically encompassing the entire room. It's not as much of a tornado as it is just this big swirling room that's circularly going around. The room's probably like 100 foot in diameter. I think that's the right word. And yeah, you're not fully in the room yet, right? You're kind of just like standing on the outskirts. But like as you're standing in this doorway, you're like almost being pulled in the room.
Yeah. Is there a ground?
there is ground. Yes, it doesn't just descend into abyss, but obviously the altar itself. This is very like this dome or circular shaped room. The altar is floating very high above. You can walk on the bottom.
Yeah, but that's not going to do any good to get up there.
Octavius will start going in his head through all of the things that he saw on the wall, looking for any answers that he might be able to get to help figure out this room. Can you do like an insight or something? Maybe there's something that I missed, or maybe something that you can give me.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't think it'd be insight as much as it would be maybe just a raw intelligence check. Maybe investigation, I guess. Not with that roll, sir. 3. Yep. You doesn't seem to be really putting anything together. You're not even sure if there's anything that you're really missing or not. That just seemed like basically a history of this of the storm, or the storm song.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. So Reich, will. So it feels as if this room wants to make him weightless.
Not so much weightless as it just wants to suck you in and make you its bitch. Basically, it wants to grab you and throw you around.
Yeah. He doesn't like that idea at all. And the island in the middle doesn't attach to anything to the outside walls.
Say again, sorry.
The island is floating in the middle.
No, nothing.
The altar.
It's just literally. It almost kind of looks like the eye of the storm is created in the center of the room. Like the wind breaks from there, and you can like see, like you can actually see the wind like whirling around the room. But as you look in the center where the altar is, it seems like the wind is not necessarily in that small radius. It just seems to have like a break in there. Another huge chunk of stone just woof, washes by, whips by you, and you actually like hear this massive stone move.
Am I holding on to Reichlevent?
Yeah, we'll say you're holding on to him, sure, because you have to be holding on to something.
Yeah, even though nobody can hear me, I'm gonna be slowly chanting in my head as I hold on to a leather strap that's attached to Reichlevent. And I'm gonna actually cast Freedom of Movement. And I know that it's probably not going to work very well against the wind, but this will. I touch a willing creature for the duration. The target's movement is unaffected by difficult terrain and spells and other magical effects that can neither reduce the target's speed nor cause the target to be paralyzed or restrained. So if the wind's reducing Reich's speed, it should just at least allow him to move throughout the room, I'm hoping.
Absolutely, very cool. You feel like this kind of freeing like light almost wash over you, and you look behind and see that Octavius has currently grabbed onto you for leverage to not be pulled into the room. You don't necessarily know what you're doing, Reich Livian, but you know that you have to be doing something as you look and you just hear your father's words kind of, when the time comes, you won't feel ready, but you will.
You'll just be ready, yeah. And he kind of reaches over and pats Octavius on the shoulder and points to the island in the middle, and then points to himself. And if he's held on to him, he like tries to release his hand from him, and he bounds into the wind.
You just like straight up jump into it?
Yeah, there's no other way to get around.
Yep, perfect. So yeah, so give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, this is going to be great. Sure. What could go wrong here? Dexterity saving throw. This is going to be awful. Oh, no, it's not. It's a 20.
Perfect. Reichlevent kind of looks back at you as the spell finishes washing over you, gives you a nod and points, and then he just does one quick like stride into the room and jumps. And just like that, you have this like kind of like narrow vision of a doorway, and you just see him jump up and then immediately sucked away from your vision. As you kind of peek into the room, you look over and you see that he is now plummeting, just grabbed into this storm and swirling around uncontrollably at first, but then he steadies himself, and he basically, as he's getting pulled into the room, begins rushing towards one of these flying big chunks of stone, and then steadies himself, kicks off of it, and then begins to like float upwards. And he's definitely not like flying or levitating in this room, but he's being like whipped around by the storm itself, and narrowly dodges being slammed into one of these big chunks. You're now at the mercy of this wind with no way to necessarily, because you haven't spun your wings yet, right?
No.
So yeah, you're just basically at the mercy of the wind, but with a 20, you don't get slammed into anything, and you're just, after a couple moments pass and you're like, did Reichlevent die? Is that the last time we're ever going to see him? 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, almost a minute comes down, and then woof, he comes whipping by the doorway again, still not bashed into anything.
Yeah, and as you took the words right out of my mouth, once he gets himself steadied and he feels like he's kind of in the vortex per se, he does deploy his wings.
All right, these large kind of light imbued wings kind of spanned out now, and you now find yourself kind of like 3-point kneeled on a chunk of debris that's whipping around the room. You're looking at your location of where you need to get to. Only now that you're kind of flying around 60 feet. Difficult flying with the wind, so it's going to be hard. Unfortunately, like Octavio said, for ground, your movement's not impeded, but flying in this wind is definitely not going to be easy. And you're thinking of that, and you're looking at all the obstacles and things that could possibly hit you. And then just before you're about to take off, something catches your eye. Give me a perception check.
Oh, yay. My food's going to be here in probably like a minute or two.
No worries.
Just a second. But let me get that perception for you, sir. He's really looking back on his character. It's kind of a one-trick pony. 10.
10?
10.
In the corner of your eye, then, you see something moving against the wind. But it's too late before your eyes can affix on it, and you turn around, and it just feels like you're hit by a ton of bricks as you take
Awesome.
13 damage. You look, and basically gravel, rock, and stone is swooped up into this humanoid-like wind shape, only large in size, much bigger than you. Pure air and storm wrapped up in rock and debris has formed this hand and punched into you and sent you flying off the debris. Your wings kind of momentarily cocoon yourself as you bash into another stone, taking another 5 points of damage, which I'm gonna give to you. And then look back.
You've been doing that.
Yeah, and look back and then see this air, I'm just going to call it elemental because it's easier to say, burst off of the stone and start heading in your direction again. I'll get you guys all to roll initiative at that point.
Okay, I'm going to go grab my food real quick and I'll be right back.
Yep, I'll roll initiative for you.
I have no problems with that. It's a roller. It's not like I have anything to do.
I rolled really well for you.
Well, great. So you stole one of my good rolls. Oh, nice.
All right. And Warrendale keeps on foiling all my plans, so you're just hanging out there.
Glad you're fine. More about it. No worries.
All right.
I just enjoy listening to them.
Listen to them suffer, eh? I do need to check one more thing though. We'll wait for Corey's actually first, conveniently enough. So we are gonna have to wait for him to get food unless he doesn't come back right away. But that gives me a second. What's that? Sorry.
Quick, take a break.
Quick. Yeah, I guess we could take like a quick 5-minute break if anyone needs to. It seems like a good time. So go ahead, run to the washroom, get a drink, and then when we get back, we'll run this little encounter.
Gonna die.
He did like a crazy base jump into the
All right. I checked what I need to check. We'll see when everyone gets back.
Yeah, sorry with all the other game and such. I didn't get a chance to eat. So.
Busy man, going from game to game, running games, playing in games.
Busy Saturdays.
Yeah. That's a good kind of busy, though.
Not a bad one. Oh, no. Did they not give me... You jackasses.
That doesn't sound promising.
No, they didn't give me silverware. That's what...
That's annoying.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Now you got to go get your own actual silverware? How dare they?
Well, it should have been in the package.
Yeah, you started off good with the deck save, but then the perception got you a little bopped.
Just a little.
I would have gave him disadvantage if you seen it coming, but that's okay. Now you can have fun.
There we go.
I'm just trying to figure out how is Libby going to really hold up in a fight right now. Like, she has main guard, which will help a lot, but with all the debris and stuff, it's like, and trying to not get drifted away.
Mm-hmm.
It's this close to tricking and being like, I'm waiting. Good luck, y'all.
It's just gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna go back out and wait with Warrendale.
See you guys in a little while.
I'll go get. This looks like a job for Warren.
All right, Dan is back. I don't see Warren yet, but he doesn't actually have anything going on since he bamfed away invisible, and there's nothing I could do about that. So we're gonna start it back up. Right, Livian, you're actually the first one to go. As you look around, you will have to give me a perception check if you want to actually see where this elemental is, because it's very hard to see it in the storm. Otherwise, your turn is up to you. You're the first up, and as is, you're being like thrown around the room every single turn. Just kind of, it takes a full turn of combat to make one rotation around the room. But obviously, with your wings, you can now kind of navigate the storm a bit. You're 60 feet away from the altar itself, but you are imposed with difficult terrain. And you actually, at the start of your turn, need to give me a dex save, because I remember that I have encounter specifics for this. I'm not going to forget this, to not be thrown into a chunk of debris.
Oh, how exciting.
When you're flying, it's very hard to navigate this. So let's see how you do with the old Dexaroo. Perfect. That's what I like to see. So you slam into a big chunk of dirt, and then you are rolled off of it, and then basically begin to start free falling and turning even more. You try to get your bearings, and as you look around, you've completely lost track of the air elemental. And as you're thinking this shit, where did it go? You hear another slam as you take 3 more damage and are thrown into another chunk of debris, basically giving you like the prone kind of condition. So now restricting your movement even more.
But what he put on me didn't help me out with that at all?
Only because you're in the air right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, does freedom of movement? Let me just read it really quickly.
He said something about the no dangerous terrain or not.
Yeah, no difficult terrain. Let me just read the wording of this, actually. Target's movement is unaffected by difficult terrain. I guess, like, mechanically, this is difficult terrain, but yeah. I guess so, yeah. It doesn't say anything about it being on the ground. It just says difficult terrain, and the air would be difficult terrain. So, yeah, you do not have difficult terrain, but you still basically have to spend half your movement getting knocked up from the debris. And you're not prone, but you know what I mean? You have to, like, get your bearings and figure out where you are.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, your freedom of movement is actually really beneficial in this situation, Octavius.
Like amazingly. Thank you for that, sir. And so I would like to roll that perception check now.
All right, go ahead and give a perception check.
Okay. Jeez.
You have no clue where this thing went.
All right, well, he's going to try to move forward towards the altar then.
All right. So how much fly speed do you have?
30 feet.
30 feet. So you basically can move 15 since you have to steady yourself, and then you begin to thrust your way through the wind. Anything else you want to do in your turn? Ready in action since you don't know where this thing went?
Yeah, if I get attacked, I'd like to attack back if I can.
Yeah, so you can ready in action for when this thing inevitably comes, that you swing at it back. Any bonus action stuff?
Nope, he's got them. No, he looked to range.
Yeah, seems like a good call.
Almost forgot about that.
Yep. And next up in the initiative is the air elemental. And again, you're just focusing, and you can't see this thing coming, but it does eventually make its way to you, and you see it basically. So it doesn't really have a form to it as much as it has like this kind of like silhouette and then debris floating in the center of it. And it actually kind of moves towards you, and it slinks away from behind this big chunk of stone, and its arm grabs onto it, and almost like putting on this massive stone boxing glove, it begins to just rush forward, and it's going to like punch you with this huge chunk of stone, rolling a 27 to hit. And then
it doesn't hit.
It doesn't hit, slams into you, and then it comes leaping over the rock again, and then picks you up and just slams you back into it once more as it attacks twice. This time, though, you miss, and you kind of like whip your blade through it, cutting it in half. You split it, and then it instantly forms itself behind you. You take 10 damage, though, however, your rage, so half the damage, 40. All right. That is...
You put that on me already?
No, not 40. Sorry. That's what you're up to.
Yeah.
Warrendale not in the combat. So, Livy, you're the next up. As you now are in the room, you have the choice to either resist being swept up by the typhoon or not.
I'm going to resist.
All right. So you need to give me a strength saving throw then.
Gladly. Her best saving throw.
Guess what, Livy? You resist for about all of 3 seconds before it's just like
focusing on the barbarian floating around.
Yep. And you are instantly pulled into the room and slammed into some debris yourself as you take only 4 more damage. I'll add it to you. And kind of the same effect for you now. You're now being whipped around the room. You see across the on the opposite side of you, Recliviant seemingly fighting like air. He's like just hacking at the wind ferociously. And then suddenly a big boulder slams into him, and you do momentarily see the silhouette of this thing. But you also now are basically half of your movement is gone to like ready yourself. And you actually can't fly, so you're, unless you have a way to fly, just at the whim of this wind, basically. And essentially going to take damage every time you start your turn, unless you can somehow get some control of this or succeed a saving throw.
I didn't get my repose.
Yes, you're right. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to swing back. I only get 1 attack, though, right?
Correct, unfortunately.
Yeah. There's really not a lot that Livy can do other than like True Strike, but that's for like attacking. But like in a way, it's like maybe that'll help her focus on like not hitting things.
Basically, right now, if you try to do a ranged attack, you'll obviously be at disadvantage, and half of the normal range is your normal range is cut in half, basically.
Yeah. I think she's going to spend the rest of this turn flying about at the whim as she scrambles for an idea.
Okay. You also still do have spells that necessarily won't be repeated.
Yep. It's kind of she wants to do rope trick, but she also knows as soon as she does it, where is she going to go from there?
Fair enough. All right. Go ahead and do your attack, Recliviant.
Okay. So the aura comes on.
Yep.
And I make my attack.
Okay.
Come on, do what I tell you, computer. That's gonna be a hit.
Yeah,
25.
Definitely a hit.
No, I wasn't. Oh, that sucks. I wasn't able to activate the aura because that's a bonus action.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, as this thing slams into you and starts basically like grinding you into this rock, breaking away chunks of it, pushing you further and further into it, you finally grab your weapon, Stromnus' fighting chance, this double-headed blade of one side being a mace, right? And another side being a glaive. And you just cut this thing in half, letting out this war cry that is taken away by the wind. The entity completely splits in half. You think for a moment that maybe you've defeated it, but then obviously it cycles back into itself. The debris inside of it kind of whirling around like its own mini tornado. and then it positions itself to fight you again. You, Livy, struggle to basically find your footing as you're just whipped around the room. You're now slammed into a big chunk of stone. Pretty helpless at the moment. Octavius, do you want to resist being swept up or just go with the wind?
At this point, since I've been watching this all unfold in front of me, has there been any point where I would even get a notion that there's an air elemental?
Just because you're kind of on the outside looking in, you'd maybe have an idea. It'd be hard to like focus on exactly where it is, but you see like Reikleviant being tossed around, and I guess like you'd have an idea. You don't know exactly where it is. Something's off. Reikleviant's fighting the air. He's either gone mad or he's fighting something.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast Spirit Guardian.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry. I'm gonna cast I'm gonna cast Spirit Guardian, and then once I cast Spirit Guardian, I'm gonna leap up into the air. So my idea is that while I'm spinning in this tornado, every once in a while I'm gonna come within distance of this air elemental, and my Spirit Guardian is gonna attack it as I go by. And this is just going to randomly happen as I'm flying through the air, and this is my defense for Rickman.
You're like a homing mind of spiritual guardians just being.
I love it.
Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw, as jumping into the wind is more dexterous than strength.
Now, out of game, Chris, I'd like to know something.
Yes.
Since I have Sentinel, and when I create an attack of opportunity, the character that I attack loses his full speed. When my Spirit Guardians are flying past this thing and attack him, is that an attack of opportunity, and will he lose his movement speed?
No, because the Spirit Guardians aren't opportunity attacks. Opportunity attack is its own thing that you need to spend a reaction doing.
All right, I thought that'd be really cool.
That would be really cool.
What did you want me to do, man?
Dex save, because you're now at the whim of this wind.
Yes, I am.
You're going to take 8 damage as Spirit Guardians come bamfing around you, forming this 15-foot aura. These little like celestial like beings circle around, ready to fight off any evil. But unfortunately, they cannot stop the slamming of your heavy armored body jumping into this wind, and then you just instantly, your feet are sucked up from underneath you and you're rolling around in a cannonball in this wind, trying to get yourself to like find any sort of bearing. And the bearing that you find is a huge chunk of stone that you land face first into as you take 8 more damage. Do you want to add that, or do you want me to?
I'll do it.
Okay. You're bloodied now.
Well, you know what? That's just one of those things.
Yeah. Reikleviant, dexterity saving throw to see if you have any control of yourself this turn.
Yeah, and I got a plan, hopefully. So am I still swirling around?
Yeah, every single turn you're being whipped around this room. You've now done 1 full rotation, but on the start of your turn, you determine whether you're slammed into something or if you kind of have control of yourself.
I do not have control of myself again.
You're slammed into something for 8 damage, which I'll add for you, and basically.
Can I try to grapple the thing that I run into?
Grapple a stone.
Yeah, why don't I try to go?
So basically, what I'm picturing is when you start the turn, you determine whether you're getting whipped off or something, and then when you're slammed into something, you're basically slammed into a big chunk of debris, which you then can like steady yourself on and basically like position yourself for this turn.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I lose the ability to be able to use that stone because I crashed into it instead.
Yeah, and now you're picking yourself up. You've basically lost half of your movement, steadying yourself and finding your bearings, but you still have moved 15 foot closer, so you're only 45 feet away now.
Yeah, let's move a little more.
All right, you want to move another 15?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want to look for the other elemental or just wait for him to come to you again?
Let's see. Let's try it. Why not?
Actually, I'm going to say you don't have to look for him since he was just engaging with you. So yeah, you know where he is, and if you move 15 feet away, actually, come to think of it, you're going to provoke an opportunity attack because he's right on top.
Okay, no, so I got yeah. So I just stay there and I swing twice then.
All right, that seems like a better idea.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yep, definitely going to be a hit.
This time as a bonus action. Sorry, we don't do this.
Yep.
So
Dexterity
often.
saving
Put
throw
my
for me.
aura on.
All right.
Yeah. Let me make sure. Stupid stuff. Where is that? I already had it once. Give it back. What did I tell you?
It succeeded its dexterity saving throw, so you're going to do half damage on the aura.
Yeah, on the extra.
Which is a D6, I believe. And your first attack did hit, or you already did the damage. Nice. Nice. That's impressive.
No, it's 2d6 actually.
Yep.
Oh, no, we're not 10 yet. No, we're 1d6, so it's still 1d6.
All right. Okay, that didn't go on him. What the heck's going on here? There we go.
And 2 more. And then we go with and she flips it around the other side and uses Thunder's Promise on the other side.
Nice. Definitely a hit.
And whoo.
Oh, right. Nice. That's some good damage. All right. So that puts it at that. Basically, you at first cut into this thing again, cutting it into 2 separate pieces. And then kind of whipping around, doing this like spin move over, you switch to like the mace end side. And as it finally puts itself together, you just smash right through the center of it, crushing a bunch of like this bigger chunks inside of the entity of this thing. It's a pretty large humanoid shaped air elemental that sometimes takes on the form of like a big ball. Sometimes it forms like an arm and comes in and punches you. And as the arm is coming, you just mace right through it, smashing the makeshift stone hand into like a bunch of little pieces. Anything else on your turn?
No.
All right, cool. Do you remember the special effects that both sides of your weapons do?
Yes, and it's that my aura increased, but I didn't have to because it was so close.
Okay.
So it would be up to 30 feet right now.
Okay.
And it resets.
Gotcha.
So if I can choose one.
I'm gonna do my job. You're gonna
yeah, you got to make that save again to see.
All right.
That ever failed the second one.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 4.
Oh wait, the aura. I think you only do the aura once.
Is
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you only do the aura once. While you look that up, it retorts again, and basically at this time, actually, no, it's going to do something different. It's going to need you to give me a strength saving throw.
Not a strength saving throw.
A barbarian who has advantage on it. I wonder how this is going to go. I should have just punched you twice.
The DM realizing he's made poor choices.
I have stumbled into his terrible trap.
Uh-huh.
I just thought you liked us and wanted us to succeed.
Yes, that's it.
It doesn't say this effect is activated. Choose one creature. When the I can see. Yeah, must make a dexterity saving throw. It doesn't say you can only do it once per turn.
Let me see here. Your aura effects you enter. You can activate it as each of your turns. Your aura effects, blah blah blah. See, the thing is, I think it costs you your bonus action to use it as like an offensive based thing. I'm just trying to find the wording of it because I have a player in another one of my games that uses this, and I know you can only do it once.
Activate this effect again on each of your turns as a bonus action.
Yeah, so you only get one bonus action.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Give me a strength saving throw, my friend.
No.
All right, you need to fail and die.
This is something he's really good at it. Let's see.
Yeah, and you got advantage too, as you not one.
Oh, and but we're gonna throw that right away.
Yeah. Hey, not 1, not 20. There you go.
Hey, I love when that happens.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. So basically, the air elemental at this time, as you smash it into a bunch of pieces as it's trying to assault you further, get the upper hand in this offensive situation, you bash into a million pieces and it just kind of shatters around you. At which point, instead of adopting a humanoid shape, it starts to adopt the actual shape of a whirlwind. And it tries to basically suck you up in the wind, but you just grab onto the stone that you're on and hang on for your dear life. It cannot actually throw you away, but it actually sends the stone that you're on bashing away. You don't actually get chucked away though, as it kind of just follows you around. You hang on for dear life, not being thrown, but you do take half of this damage anyways, but luckily you don't take any additional damage. So you take half of 19 and then halved again because you have resistance from your rage. Right. So 9, and then you take 4 damage, which I'll add to you.
Okay. Because it pushed me away, do I get an opportunity attack? Because I didn't use
sorry, I misspoke my words. It didn't push you away because it failed. You succeeded at not being sucked in by its whirlwind.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, it tried to like push you away, but instead it just like it went with you as because you're just floating in free space right now.
Yeah. Right. Makes sense.
That ends its turn. Warrendell, on your like kind of moment, you're just like, well, what's taking these guys so long? You would hear, you're saying near Hecaton, right? You would hear Hecaton say to Lorwyn that it's going to make matters much easier if we can get a hold of him and cleanse him like I did with you. You know, just in case his friends, the ones that aren't part of the tribe, decide to act up and make things difficult.
What? Make things difficult?
To which Lorwyn says, my people are looking for him. If we find him, then we will definitely make sure that he is sided with us. You get an action technically if you want to do something, but I'm imagining since you're pretty much free of any potential issues being invisible, you might not want to do anything.
Yeah, he's not going to put himself in anything. Hecaton's kind of sort of like on a cliff ledge type thing, right? Is that where she is?
Yeah, she's kind of standing beside him, but like obviously on the side closer to the not falling off, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of hang out where I am. I'm hoping they'll exit out of this thing soon.
Absolutely.
Before my invisibility runs off, basically.
Okay. Livy, do you want to basically use your strength to hold on for dear life to the rock that you're currently now on, or do you want to jump into the air and get twirled around again and hope that you can dexterously keep your footing?
We saw how well her strength did last time. She is totally going to try dex.
All right, go for it.
Yay! She only takes that.
So yeah, basically what you see happening is another big boulder coming towards you and threatening to smush you in a rock Livy sandwich. So you're forced to basically jump into the wind. Momentarily, you're spun around, but you already kind of like determine the trajectory and do this finesse-like flip and then flip yourself around and land onto the next chunk of flying rock as the other two rocks smash into each other, narrowly negating that. You only take half of 4 damage, so 2 damage.
Woo! So on that momentum of awesomeness, she's gonna be like, yeah, I need a moment to really think in peace, and grabs a rope and rope trick.
All right.
Up as fast as she can.
You climb into your little pocket dimension. You hear like the faint sound of the wind, kind of like that echoing distant sound of wind from where your pocket dimension hole is. And you're just sitting in this kind of like quiet, dark space, like heavily breathing, collecting yourself.
And hopefully to the others, if they see the rope, they might be able to climb to safety. But yeah, she is definitely taking some deep breaths. And she has an idea, but she cannot act on it this turn.
Gotcha. Octavios, same question for you. Do you want to strength and hang on for dear life where you are, or just fly like the wild leaf that you are in the wind and hope that your dexterity stops you from being smushed?
No, the point of my flight is to randomly fly through the air so that my spirit guardians will come in contact with the air elemental. So I will randomly fly through the air.
I like it. Give me a dexterity saving throw then. And if you succeed, I'll say that you position yourself in a way that puts it in your aura.
As long as he comes within 15 feet of my crazy spinning.
All right. You are so close to being in its aura for sure, but just with that 11, you unfortunately are like, you thought you were going to get there, and then you just, at the last moment, boof, hit with the side of a rock. You take 6 more damage.
I'm going to take my shield out from behind. Like I rarely take my shield off, but I'm going to take my shield off my back, and I'm going to use it like a kite to try to steer myself closer to this air elemental. I'm going to do everything in my power, even though it's probably all pointless. And at the same time, I'm going to use my my channel divinity of preserve life.
Okay.
I'm going to heal myself for 45 damage.
All right. I will say that with your shield out, that will definitely catch some wind for you. So I'll let you have this. I'll let you have advantage on your next dex saving throw to get in the vicinity of this creature. Sound good?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Right, Liviant, you're starting to get badly beat down. This air elemental starting to really piss you off, and you can't really tell if you're making any leeway with it. It's absolute chaos in the air. You see your other 2 new friends being tossed around, and one vanishes into a rope. Same question for you: strength or dex? However, strength is hanging on for dear life, so you're not really going to be able to move if you choose the strength route.
I don't really have to move because it's right here in front of me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go the strength route.
All right.
That's better, and he gets advantage on that.
Yes, sir. You already passed anyway, so don't waste the natural.
Well, it was already there. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'll cycle that 3. That's okay.
All
right. Yeah. So he's there, and he's going to swing a ding again.
All right, swing, miss.
Yes, how exciting! And it's the same. It's the same thing. Swing and a swing. Oh, there's an extra 20.
So yeah, go ahead.
The bonus action, I turn on my aura.
Yep, and zap it. It's gonna be something.
And this will be 2. And this will be 2 of these because everything is right.
Yeah, maybe I'll say yeah. Probably not, but yeah. I'm good with that. Cool.
Oh, dude, it only gave me 4 more damage. So.
24 damage. So yeah, this thing begins to come out of its form and takes on the shape of basically like another big almost like needle-like dagger. It takes on the form of a large dagger that begins rushing towards you, and you just basically ready up with like a bat almost with your weapon, and then just with every bit of power you have, you dig your legs in and you swing into this, and you absolutely just home run, like slam into this thing for 24 damage. 25 damage. And you, I think, let me just see here.
Come on.
Math is hard. Puts it into, it's actually not bloodied yet.
So but what it is a critical hit. Everyone in my aura is knocked prone.
Nice. Cool. It is immune to being prone. So
how cool is that?
Does not. But nonetheless, if it could have been knocked prone, it definitely would have been.
Yes.
All right. I'm assuming that's it for you.
Yeah, yes, unfortunately. That's all I got.
All right. See if it does succeed on its whirlwind, but it's realized that you're pretty good at hanging on for dear life, so it's gonna go with the slam you into the dirt and crush your every bone in your body technique instead. As it rolled a 15 and a 21. I think that hits. I don't know why I'm just not.
Yeah, they both do.
All right. So you're gonna take a total of. Oof, that's going to be pretty spicy. Total of 32 damage, halved. So 16 damage.
16?
Yes, sir. I can add that.
You're going to throw it on. Thank you, sir. I have another.
You're at 68 hit points now of your...
I'm aware.
All right. And basically what this thing does is as you smack it out of its dagger form, it just begins to like meteor storm hail into you, boulder after boulder. One hits you in the gut and knocks your wind out momentarily. And as you look up, it's just grabbed onto this big chunk of rock and slams it into your skull. You just your eyes go ringing, you lose vision momentarily, and you look up and you're just caught in the center of this thing, being tossed around, boulders slamming into your face every direction. Livy, you're hanging out in Pocket Dimension World. It's much less windy in here.
Just the way she likes it.
You don't have to make any save either.
Yes. Oh, I feel like I could breathe for a moment. So, her idea is she's going to see if she can peek outside her pocket dimension without actually leaving it.
Interesting.
Happen.
And what happened? Sorry.
She's wanting to see if she's able to at least look out. Like, she's not leaving it, but she wants to see if she can view out of it.
Yeah, you can peek out. I think I'm looking. Yeah, you can peek.
Can she aim?
You cannot attack in or out of this thing. So you got to either come out or in. The spell does say that.
Really?
Yeah, at the second paragraph, attacks and spells cannot.
Oh, I didn't scroll down. That was just the one paragraph. I was like, it doesn't say anything, so maybe I could. Darn.
Yeah.
Can't cross through the entrance.
Plans foiled.
Yep, very much so. Oh no. Okay. And
Well, can you stick your arm out a hole and shoot?
that's what I was hoping. Where it's like she would basically be out of it, or at least like have the weapon outside of it. And
Yeah, you could like gymnastics, tuck your legs and poke out, but then you're out. So then you're risking getting sucked out by the storm again.
How strong is this storm? Like, if she had
enough to whip around big ass boulders and Octavios.
Fair enough.
And an enormous barbarian.
You can definitely do that, but you're just going to be at risk of making another save and being sucked out again.
Yeah, I was thinking about like doing either a dex save or an acrobatics, seeing if
to basically hang on to the pocket dimension, it would unfortunately be a strength. Dex is more like embracing the wind and.
Man, I have nothing fun in here to work with. Okay. As she kind of peeks out, how far does this stone majigger look?
The altar?
Yeah.
From where you are, probably about, since you haven't really moved any closer or further away from it, you're about the full 60, or not the full 60, but 60 feet away.
Bugger.
And I'm 30 feet away right now, right?
Yes.
Is she like above it? Because she got sucked up into this thing. So is she like above it 60 feet away?
Yeah, sure. I'm into that.
Okay.
You're at the high, you're like basically grinding across the ceiling as you poke out. You just momentarily like stick your head out and then you have to like tuck your head back in because a big stalactite comes like almost taking your head off. You're like, whoo, watch that whip by.
Okay. Okay. She's gonna enjoy at least another 6 seconds of just safety.
Okay.
And then she's going to be a little more daring. Haven't died yet. So, yep.
All right, so hanging out. Okay. Octavios, it's your moment to shine. You have your paragliding shield and arm. You grab onto it for good firm grip. And if you want to make a dex save at advantage, you might be able to get whipped into this thing.
Right on. I have such a huge plan, man.
I like when you got plans. It means that I'm gonna be at the very least amused. All right, you do it. You grab on and just like a big paraglider, you're whipped right into this thing and you actually land on the stone right beside Rick Livians, your feet kind of crushing in, and it's now in the aura of the spirit guardians. So it must, when it enters or starts its turn, right? Let me look it up. Spirit guardians. I always forget this one. You call forth when the spell is cast, blah, blah, blah.
Creature's speed is halved.
Mm-hmm.
Creature enters the area for the first time on a turn. It starts its turn there. It must take a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d8 radiant damage, if you're good.
So on its turn, it will make a wisdom saving throw and get beat up by this thing.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at this thing. And I'm going to yell, hey, help my friend. get to that stone, and I'm gonna cast Geese on him.
What the what? You know Gaius now? Geese. Nice.
You need to take one more damage to the elemental because of brutal critical, and I forgot about that.
Okay. Now I really like that idea, Dan. But the one problem is that has a casting time of 1 minute.
I will start yelling this out.
That's 10 rounds of combat.
I will start yelling this out.
All right, you're speaking.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, that spell though.
Because every time he comes close to me, he's gonna get hit by a spirit guardian. So I'm just gonna keep talking.
All right, so you're beginning the channeling of Gaius.
Yep.
All right, Rick Livians. Strength or dex? What's it gonna be? Pick your poison.
That should be that strength, of course, sir.
All right, go for it.
Let's do this because I forgot I could there for a second.
You good?
Yep. I do this. 20 hits.
Yep.
I activate.
Saving throw. It succeeded again.
Lovely. Man, that's a lot of ones on those sixes. And that is promise. Bam!
Hit.
That's nice.
Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, we're gonna take it this last time. It still looks formed pretty normally.
Now as you look at it, there's not really a way to I guess know how injured this thing is, but you've been pounding into it for a while for sure.
Okay.
You're definitely hoping it's going to die soon, but there's probably not a way to see if an air elemental is injured or not.
I fully understand. Yeah, we go with it, and he Nah, go ahead.
All right, it is now up, and now that Octavius and Rick Liviant are together, and it's conveniently close by area.
He needs to make a wisdom.
And it's going to make a wisdom saving throw. I seen Dan just waiting for it. Fuck, it failed. Go ahead and do what? 3d8?
Bam.
Nice.
Oh.
It's in bad shape too. And what does it do again? Did you say I can't move or?
It actually it has its movement speed.
Perfect. So this doesn't stop what it's going to do. I need you both to make me a strength saving throw.
I don't want to.
You know what? As I'm yelling, help my friend get to the stone. Help my friend get to the stone. Help my friend get to the stone. I will make my strength saving throw.
I like how that's your Gaius. You just repeat the same thing over and over again.
Oh, come on.
No, you both made it. Or no, one of you made it. One of you made it. One of you did not.
Who
didn't make it?
You.
Dan, you definitely didn't. So Octavius take the full 13 damage. Reich double half that.
So 13, that's 7 and then 4.
Help my friend get to the stone. Ouch. Help my friend get to the stone. Ouch. Help my friend get to the stone.
Octavius, you are caught up in this whirlwind and flung 20 feet towards the altar. Boof, you start slamming through a rock. It breaks into a million pieces. You slam through another rock. Boof, it breaks. You take 12 more damage. And you're tracking your own damage, right? Yeah, you are. Okay. And as you get...
How close was he to me?
He was 30 feet away. So now you're 10 feet away from this altar. But as you get closer to it, you start to see that the center of this room with the altar and floating stone, the air doesn't seem to be violent there, but But you know, when you go to like those like science museums or stuff or whatever, and there's those crystal balls that have like the electric ball of like lightning in the center of it. As you start to get closer to it, lightning starts to spark from the center of it and like nip towards the sphere of air in your direction very angrily and violently.
Cool. I'm
Oh,
hovering
nice.
into the stuff. I'm hovering into the. Oh shit.
You're now trying to concentrate, right? Because that's what you're trying to do. So I think you need to make me a con save. Let me see. Is it concentration? No, it doesn't say concentration. It just says it's a casting time of a minute. So that's interesting. You're fine. You don't have to make a con save. Livy, you've been in the rope trick for a bit now. What are you doing? You're muted, first of all. And you've only been there for 6 seconds, is I imagine what you said.
Wishing she had seen the effect of the stone. Because her idea right now is to basically plummet out of the rope trick.
Okay.
And get as close, hopefully within 30 feet of the altar.
Yeah.
And then Action Surge and Misty Step. But we gotta first get as close as we can.
Deck save. As you're now like looking down, it's a beeline right down to that for sure.
Hey!
Hey!
Like, yeah, no, like pencil dive right down.
Yeah, like an extreme skydiver. You just jump out of your hole and just woof, dive bomb down. You are definitely able to travel the 30 feet right towards it if you wish.
All right, well, she's going to do that. And sorry, y'all, if I'm committing suicide, but she will then Misty Step into the to the altar in the hopes that, because in her head right now, it is get to that thing, it'll stop the chaos. It's the reverse thing of the stories that she's read.
All right, so I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Oh gosh, I'm gonna die.
But wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass. But if she Misty Steps, it means that she opens the door and goes through the other side. So wouldn't she avoid all that in between?
No, this isn't avoiding anything in between.
It's what he was describing about the lightning arc.
No. I understand that. You
bamf into the center of this kind of area, right? And then instantly are hit with the orb itself angrily, violently strikes you down with lightning. You succeeded, so you actually only take 17 damage since you succeeded on the con save.
Wow.
And you're not paralyzed, so
what?
So right now you're not paralyzed, but it is like witch bolting you times. It's like 9th level witch bolting you. Not that extreme, but it's like a very powerful bolt of lightning is channeling to you, and the channel does not break now that you're in the center of this area. It is violent and it is angry that you are here.
Ah, shoot. Well, I guess next turn she tries to leave the area fast or...
You still technically have your movement because you Misty Stepped, right?
But it also fell?
Yeah, so I imagine you just like popped out, Misty Stepped, and just boof, because you fell towards it like a little bit. Falling isn't really a move action.
She will try and close and like grab this stone majigger.
Oh, you're grabbing it? Okay. That's a good idea. I like that.
It's always good when the DM laughs.
I mean, of course, you're grabbing it. What a great idea.
Livy's just so much in the chaos has to stop. The chaos has to stop. This is a heroic thing, right? Right.
All right, give me a strength save. Or, I mean, a strength check, sorry.
Okay, strength check. Okay, I might be using advantage on this. Let's see. It's probably about as good as it's gonna get, so I'm gonna just kind of call it good.
You're gonna not take advantage of that?
It's one of those. There's a chance I might roll higher, but 14's fairly good, I'd say, on a D20.
All right.
Should have used True Strike first. But anyways.
13. All right. You do not have enough strength to lift this thing off, and it assaults you for 14 more damage.
All right.
It does not like you touching it.
All right. Livy, how much movement did I use with that?
Like 5 feet.
All right, and how much to get outside the orb?
I'm gonna say like 15.
Oh, she's gonna take her chances with the outside world.
All right.
She's basically about to be unconscious.
Yeah, so you fall into this thing, you're instantly zapped, and you try to warrior Amazon fight through this. You grab onto it, give it everything you can. It zaps you even harder. Your hair's like frizzled beyond belief now. You're badly burned, and you're like, all right, this was not my best idea. And then you turn around and you jump out of the room. I hate to do this to you, but now that you're going back into the whirlwind, you need to give me a dex saving throw.
It's all good. Sorry, y'all. Good luck. 22.
Hey, you make it, so you only take half damage.
1. Roll 2. Snake eyes.
8 halved 4.
Yeah. All right.
Unconscious. All right. You Octavius watched that all unfold because you were only you were only 10 feet away. So maybe you were having the same idea for whatever reason, and you see Livy just go get zapped, and you're like, oh my god, is Livy okay? Wait, she's standing good. And then she walks over to it, grabs the stone, gets zapped even further, just like, oh god, what's gonna happen to her? And then she falls out, jumps out, and then gets knocked unconscious.
Help my friend get over to the stone. Help my friend get over to the stone. Oh shit, help my friend away from the stone. Help my friend away from the stone. Help that. Get that one over there. 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 Oh shit. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Beautiful. Take a point of inspiration.
Hilarious.
Are you doing anything on your turn though? Or are you gassing? Okay.
Still floating around and hoping my spirit guardians will beat the shit out of this air elemental.
Which I think, did I forget to do? No, I didn't do that. We're still in the same round. It's just going by really slow. All right, Reich. What are you doing? Strength or dex?
Strength.
All right. Good luck.
And I may have an idea.
Your success.
All right. So he's actually going to with the wings out, he's going to take the attack of opportunity and jump to the altar.
Okay. It's gonna oppie you. I think I missed 14 to hit.
Yep. Nope.
All right, and you don't have difficult terrain, so yeah, you're good to go. Oh wait, no, you bunkered down with the strength. So strength is like holding on for dear life. If you want to not strengthen, it's dex.
All right. Well, let me see that. Sorry, I didn't. I was so hoping that I could steady myself and then jump from there. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that would be a more dexful route if you're trying to fly.
All right, it's a 12.
12 is unfortunately not enough, so you again would lose half your movement. But 15 feet, yeah, you can't make it in one turn.
I can if I make the dash action.
Yeah, if you dash, yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I dash to it.
Okay. And you're gonna go into it does the same thing. Like it angrily seems to zap in your direction, but you can pierce through the void of air and land into the calmer part if you wish.
I'm gonna do that.
All right, give me a Constitution saving throw.
That is not a problem. I am also resistant to lightning damage.
Okay.
23.
23 is a success. You're gonna take half.
I'm gonna take half of.
Yeah, half.
Yeah.
36 down to half is what? That's embarrassingly bad at math. That is 18, and then halved again.
That's 9.
9. All right. So you are in pretty bad shape, mister.
I'm not great. But I hope to be able to Great. So wait, is the stone there right now?
Yeah, the stone is what's seemingly sending this like lightning at you. It's basically like 100 witch bolts are being sent in your direction.
No, I understand, but it's not the noon stone.
The noon stone is what's sending out this electricity.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, but I could grasp it.
Yeah, you can move up to it and grab it if you want, but you spent all your movement getting here. So
no, I understand. You know what I mean? So I can't to get there. All right, all my movement to get there, I'd still have because 15 feet away. All right, yeah. All right. But I want to. All right, yeah, it's fine. I want to be ready to grab it next turn. So
okay. That should be an issue as long as you're standing.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Is it windy inside here?
No, there's no wind at all, but there's a lot of lightning.
Yeah.
All right. Air elemental, however, does not like that you went that direction towards the Noonstone and flies towards you and is going to try to attack you.
It doesn't take the lightning damage?
It does not.
Did he come within range of me? 15 feet?
Oh, he's in his thing. Yeah. He would have for sure because he would have had to get right through you. You're right. Good catch. All right. This is pretty important right here. It failed. Roll the damage. This is interesting.
Come on, big damage. Big damage.
Octavius, as you're basically trying to guide us, your spiritual warriors are flying around just waiting for this thing to get in, and basically you're in between the path of it and Livian, and you see this thing dash away and start to fly through your spirit guardians. One hits it, another hits it, and it's starting to break away more and more pieces as it goes towards Livian, who's just like taking bolts of lightning to its chest. Like 12 of them just strike him in his chest as he yells out in pain. Another spirit guardian hits the air elemental, bursting it down into smaller and smaller chunks. You're just like, get my friend away from there, get my friend away from there. And then as it's just about to pierce the void and get in upon Livian, the last spirit guardian crushes into it and breaks it into a tiny little million pieces of dust debris. And Livian, you're just kind of showered with dirt as the air elemental is no more. Suddenly the torrent of wind stops and every piece of debris, every bit of wind just freezes. Everyone tossed around in it also hovers in place.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's just going to drop.
And it's as if time itself has stopped there. The lightning bolts no longer hit you. Everything just freezes. That was almost just enough damage to kill it.
Oh, I should have just stayed on there and tried to kill it, but I thought it was something that we were going to be able to do. Whatever.
Libby, death saving throw. You're muted. Oh God, Livy. Oh God, two fails with a nat one. That's not good.
Oh no.
Octavius, what do you do?
Octavius, hovering, shouts out, "This fucking spell sucks!" He's gonna cast. Instead, he's gonna be like, "Fuck this!" Reykjavik's already where you wanted him to go, so he's gonna cast Mass Cure Wounds, so that hopefully Livy will spring back to action, and Reykjavik will feel a little bit better about himself.
Yeah, cool. Mass Cure Wounds. Do you have to touch or no? It's an aura, right?
Yeah.
All right, Livy, you take that heal will actually work. Yeah, it will. There, I healed you, and I will also heal Reykjavian. No longer
Thank you, sir.
Reich, the Noonstone. Now this bright kind of, it goes from that dark, angry, stormy energy now to like a calm, almost like warm, glowing light. It's just this chunk of stone. Almost picture like a yin yang split in two. It almost
yeah.
teardrop. Yeah.
Wicked. I say that he picks it up.
You go and you grab it, and although it's like big in nature, like something that you'd have to like double arm grab, it has like this surprising weightlessness to it.
What?
That's awesome.
You grab it, and you're now like carrying this large boulder, but it's like actually pretty light. Like, whew. You have the Noonstone. It feels warm, but like wet at the same time. For some reason, when you grab onto it, you get like that warm feeling of being in a nice sun shower.
I would have killed that thing faster.
You should never give that thing up. Keep that. Hold on to it forever. Never give it to anyone.
Yeah, it kind of said not to give it to the giants. Did you not see that on the thing? It was at the end.
Yeah, just telling you. Trying to remind you. Don't want you fucking...
It's really hard to get that. I wouldn't give it up.
But we need to get out. Healing man, can you do more of that?
Yeah, I'm just kind of floating right now. Give me a minute.
All right, now that everything's just kind of floating there, we're really far away from each other, aren't we?
You can actually, in this room, now that the storm has been calmed, literally walk on air. It's a really weird thing. Like, you can just walk through it. It's like no gravity.
Is there another door?
Just the way you came from.
Just the way we came in. So there was supposed to be 4, and we only did 3.
If we do have a chance to gather, I will cast a mass healing word while we're all standing together.
Yeah, you can do that. You can take a short rest if you want.
Climb back into my...
There's another 7 for both of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I did it to both of you.
I think that there's still one more test before we leave here.
Then we will face it together.
Can we do it in a few minutes? And he's kind of sitting on the altar.
Livy's just kind of lay back, like, I've always wanted to sleep on a cloud. I think this is probably the closest.
You guys never thought my spirit guardian thing would work, did you? Suckers!
Yeah, what do your spirit guardians look like?
I'm going to say at this point, they probably look like the 4 evil dead horsemen.
Okay, cool.
I was going to say weird bondage whips.
You've definitely been able to tell lately that Octavius has taken an odd turn.
Yes, definitely. I'll definitely roll some hit dice.
Okay, so anyone that wants to spend hit dice, go ahead and do so. And hey, Warrendale, your party is taking a long fucking time, like an hour, we would say. How long does that invisibility last?
Yeah, I'm assuming it would run out before they got out of that case.
Oh, yeah, it actually only lasts a minute, apparently. I didn't know that. Really? I thought it was much longer.
Much better.
How about last one? Be a good one.
Yeah, we're gonna pan back to this moment, actually, then, because this would have been happening while combat was going on. I didn't realize this. I'll give you some. But yeah, you're just about to lose concentration on your invisibility. And it just so happens that there are, like, barbarians kind of getting close to your area, like, looking for you. Reinforcements have showed up. There's about 6 more of them now, total of 12.
Can I see Josephine?
Yeah, she's just kind of standing around, shaking her head. Like, you can't hear her, but if you could read lips, it would be like, what the fuck is this idiot up to now?
Well, I will, for the moment, just try and tuck back in the best I can and hide from these guys.
All right, go ahead and make a stealth check.
I'm stealthy, sort of. Not right now, I'm not.
All right. Then let me make a compose because they literally are looking for you. Let's make a roll here and see if anyone sees you. Not one on King Hecaton.
Okay. He still has his eyes closed.
Yeah. And let's do a perception check over here with these guys. I'm only going to say that 3 are in your vicinity. and we rolled a 7, a 6, and a 19. You were so close. The last guy, as your invisibility runs away and you think you have yourself tucked around, he somehow gets like slightly above you, and you hear him call out, "There he is! I found him! Don't move!"
Put my hands up.
Everyone else kind of runs around. Hecaton now stands up and he comes up to you and, "What is the meaning of this?
Just
Why
trying
are
to
you
stay
lurking
out of
around
the rain.
hiding?"
Trying to stay out of the rain. It's getting a bit chilly. Think I tuck myself away under these nooks and crannies. Keep myself dry. I invited Delphine and Lorwyn as well, but they didn't want to come cuddle with me.
You see, Laurelwind, this is what I was speaking of. I think he has fallen under the same affliction that you had. His mind is going. We must save him before it's too late. Laurelwind looks back at her people. King Hecaton is right. Whatever ailments came over me darkened my vision and threatened to corrupt me and lead me down a wrong path. We must save this man. We must let King Hecaton save him from whatever darkness is now climbing into his mind. And she comes towards you and grabs onto your wrist. Do you do anything?
What does she look like? She's doing to take me away? So
She's looking like she's trying to like grab you, actually. Like she's gonna now they're kind of like circling around you, I guess. And are you being hesitant, or are you just kind of standing there? Because she's like, they're kind of cautiously approaching, like you're like a enraged animal that they don't want to necessarily provoke. And she looks like she is kind of like positioning in to grab you or grab onto you.
put myself up against the wall, so my back's to the wall. You know, this little thing that I was hiding into a little bit, so that they're all sort of standing there. I can see the fear in their eyes a little bit. Maybe not her so much, but the others. I'm gonna cast fear.
Nice. All right.
Let me double check. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's a radius or a cone.
Yeah, it's a radius for sure of 30-foot cone, actually.
Let's see what they got to do. They need to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right, I'm gonna break the berserkers down into 2 packs of 6 because that's just easiest to do than 12 saves. Fail in the first pack, fail in the second pack. Now Laurelwyn, actually I did a dex save, but that still would have been a fail regardless. Laurelwyn rolled a natural 13, no modifier on her wisdom. And Hecaton, I'm going to say, sure, he'll be in it too. Let's see, though. He has this going for him. All right, what's your DC?
I want to say 18. Does it say anywhere on here?
8 plus proficiency plus your charisma. It doesn't say anywhere on your sheet, I don't think.
8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
17? Okay. You might have a +1 from an item, but regardless, Hecaton doesn't seem to be phased, and he is going to cast a spell of his own. And I need you to make... where is it? Where is it? Where is it? God damn it, I just had it in front of me too. Here we go. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Do I see him doing this?
I'll give you a perception. There's a lot going on. You're kind of surrounded. He's a big dude. In regard, are you trying to counterspell him?
Actually, I was going to use my bonus action for a Misty Step.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Then yeah, let's say that this is yeah, what do you want to Misty Step to?
Hopefully down to the ground or as close to Delphine is basically in her direction.
Okay, yep, you can definitely do that. And then he did have ready to action though, so he will cast a spell at you, which I will need a wisdom save. He has the range to do it.
I suck at wisdom. Let's see. I do not have inspiration, so yep. 4.
All right. 4. A twisting pattern of colors and lights begin to weave in the air around you, and you're completely and utterly entranced by this. You just kind of stand there, and you hear the voice of Hecaton, who suddenly becomes much more calming as he says, "Warrendel, we are not trying to harm you. We are trying to save you from the corruption that is infesting your mind." And his voice gets like much different in tone and even feel, almost more feminine. And your speed has become 0, and you are incapacitated by his hypnotic pattern. To which Delphine also is going to make a save.
I've never seen anybody use that before. It's cool as hell.
And she also failed, so she's wrapped up in it also. Dang, that's interesting.
She was my surviving grace.
The barbarians begin to then grab you. You can't fight it because you're incapacitated, and they bring you over to Hecaton. Hecaton wraps you up. You're not unconscious, so you're kind of just like in this paralyzed state where you're let me see if you're aware. You become charmed. So I'm going to say you're kind of like almost like in a dream state where you're aware, but you don't really understand what's going on. And he grabs onto you and begins to carry you to the same place where he carried Lorwyn. And he now holds you closely to his chest, and you see that he's now wearing a necklace that he pulls out, and it's glowing with this raw energy. And you hear him whisper to you that it's taken me some time to prepare this. A lot of suffering. Listen to you drone and on, asking your foolish questions, prying where your little brain doesn't belong. It's okay, though. We're going to make you much, much more compliant. And then you're going to watch what I do to your friends. And he takes you up to the top of the peak and says, "So long for now, Warrendel." And holds you up to the sky, and boof, a crack of lightning comes down and hits you right in the chest, Warrendel. You're zapped incredibly hard, and you feel your consciousness lose itself. Everything goes black, buzzing, this sound of just ringing in your ear in darkness. Octavius, you get this shocking, almost electric pain right in your heart area. And you instantly get the feeling that something is terribly wrong.
Octavius would do his best to start moving back to the mouth of the cave, telling Rick and Livy that we have to go. We have to get out of here. Something is wrong. We have to go.
What do you mean something is wrong?
We need to leave. We need to get back. Please, we need to go.
Livy would get up, not really questioning, knowing that they probably have been there for a while, and it'd be a good idea to like go see how the others outside are doing.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think we've been in here? Shoot, just kind of mumblessly.
An hour plus.
A very long time.
Like, I mean, I'm feeling a lot better. Like, I guess that's.
They would notice Octavius becoming more and more frantic, almost even using his hammer to pound at the door to try to get out.
Octavius, you haven't felt a sensation like this since you actually lost Warrendel and almost felt his soul pass, you were brought back to that same sick feeling of Nightstone when Warren actually died.
Pounding of the hammer on the door would become frenzied. Octavius's face would start to sweat. We need to leave.
Yeah, Rake will help him push the door open.
You run through the hallways, down the stairs, into the Reigning Rim, back to the entryway, and you rush out into the night. Darkness still in the sky. The storm now is booming on in a full typhoon, pouring down icy rain. The rain is actually starting to freeze as it hits the stone and has created these makeshift like stalagmites of ice that are now kind of jutting up from the ground from the rain continually pounding into the dirt, but being so cold that it's instantly freezing. You look around, Reich, you see Lorwyn waiting. You see your barbarian tribesmen waiting as they see you carrying the Noonstone. They cheer in happiness. You see Hecaton standing there with a warm smile on his face. You see Delphine, and standing next to Hecaton is also Warrendel. And that is where we'll end the session tonight.
Oh.
Also is Warrendel.
All right, people. That was a fun one. Sorry, Warren.
Wait. I hate you right now.
I know, eh? Anyways, though, I had fun. Sorry, Morgan, for every decision you made completely went against like everything that I was like thinking you would do or like preparing you to do. You just basically took like the most passive path possible in that. So I have some things to PM you, Morgan.
Okay.
But until next time, guys, I can't wait to play. I've been waiting for stuff like this to start unfolding, and I'm really excited. Even though I did not expect it to go this way, but I'm excited to where it's going. So until next session, guys, we'll catch you next time. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.